Wedding Party by Anonymous, which is how you know it's going to be juicy. Matt and I almost dated once. It ended when I got so drunk at a Halloween party. Thank you. It ended when I got so drunk at a Halloween party, I made out with him in front of his recent ex-girlfriend. And then I went home with another guy. Sometimes I'm not so awesome. That said, we remained friends, and when he started dating Amy, he would often joke about how the three of us would one day have an amazing weekend together. I always laughed and took it as a flirtatious joke. It did cross my mind that he might be serious, but I didn't expect the opportunity to actually arise. On the other hand, Amy had great tits, and if I was going to hook up with another girl, good tits were important. Then fate struck, and our mutual friends decided to have a destination wedding. I asked Matt and Amy if I could share a hotel room with them. I wasn't trying to create an opportunity. They were legitimately my closest friends at the wedding, and I couldn't afford a room on my own. Besides, at this point, we had only joked about our mutual attractions, and I needed a place to stay. When they agreed to take me in as a third wheel for the weekend, no sex jokes were made, and I assumed it would be a pretty normal wedding weekend. There would definitely be lots of drunkenness, and I was prepared for a possible sock on the doorknob should Matt and Amy need a little alone time. Night one in the hotel was uneventful, at least in the third wheel department. During the course of pre-wedding festivities, I had attached myself to another wedding guest, who I made out with so passionately on the street, multiple strangers told us to get a room. We did not, however, get a room, and instead returned to our separate but shared rooms. Cunnilingus in the hotel bathroom was discussed, but we agreed instead to end the night as to be continued, so to speak. Night two was the actual wedding night and included the usual wedding drinking shenanigans. Again, I was attached to my makeout buddy from the previous night, but little did I know he was involved in discussions with Amy to make a little group magic happen. Yes, they were discussing a foursome. The discussion also included another female wedding guest, whom my date had previously hooked up with, increasing our party number to 5. Although I'm not an expert on ménage à trois, I'm pretty sure it became a ménage à cinq. You've entered into orgy territory. I should mention that I've never really considered myself sexually adventurous, although I have said I'm open to pretty much anything once. Except pain, I just don't get that. Somehow, though, I had found myself on the short list for an orgy. As the night progressed, the plans solidified. It dawned on me that my friends were organizing a sexual tryst as you might organize a friend's surprise birthday party. They were sneaking off and discussing in whispers while looking over their shoulders to make sure no one from the wedding party was in earshot. Who knew a foursome started with planning? In my imagination, it just started with booze, horny people, and a private location. Sure, we had all 3 elements already, but the planning was required to get all of us back to the private location discreetly and with the same intentions. For what it's worth, the 5th backed out. Cold feet, I guess. She wasn't really ready for an orgy, perhaps a ménage à trois, but 5? That was a little much. Ultimately, I'm glad she backed out. There is something to be said for even numbers. With some trepidation, a deal was made, and the 4 of us headed out and away from the wedding party. Fortunately, we weren't the first to leave the group, so we had managed some discretion. First step complete. We stopped at a bar for another drink, just the 4 of us. It was sort of the last test of courage before we had to get serious. Whenever someone got up to go to the bathroom, the other 3 would confirm that this was a good idea and that we were all comfortable with it. And once everyone had given their okay in the safety of a public bar, but away from the other wedding guests, we made our way back to the hotel room. One might wonder, how does a foursome actually start? Drunken groping that escalates until everyone is naked and things are touching things? Again, my imagination wasn't quite on the mark. Thanks a lot, Hollywood. Instead, we played Truth or Dare to get things started. First making boys kiss boys and girls kiss girls, and then tops coming off until the game was an unnecessary guise to our true intentions. To avoid turning the story into a knockoff 50 Shades of Grey, I'll stick to what didn't happen and let your mind fill in the blanks. There was no penetration. With only one actual couple in the foursome, the thought of having to monitor condom use was mood-killing. No one actually said it wasn't allowed, it just didn't happen. Maybe we should have gotten colored condoms so we could keep track of which vagina had which penis in it. But our planning hadn't covered that, and I didn't want to think about what STDs might be passed around. The less penetration, the less to think about. Prior to my own experience, I had heard that threesomes often create jealousy because one person feels left out at times. Perhaps having a foursome mitigated that risk. I felt that I was well taken care of, but that also might be because Amy was one of the initiators and was definitely interested in a little girl-on-girl action. As suspected, I did enjoy licking nipples on full breasts. I think most people can agree women are beautiful and nice boobs are nice for everyone. I am still sure, though, that men are my thing. I can't really do without a penis for very long. Overall, it was fun and an interesting evening. I got to experience being on the other side of some great tits and have 6 hands all caressing me in various ways at once. For those aspects, I recommend it, but for anyone lamenting their lack of ambitious, multiple participant sex trysts, I have one thing to share. As cool as it is to cross that off the bucket list, I would trade it for a quickie every morning from someone I love. Maybe I'm a hopeless romantic, but sex every day with a significant other trumps the oft-talked-about orgy, or at least that's what I tell my potential suitors that might be intimidated by it. Thank you.